Goodfellas is widely regarded as one of the greatest films ever made, but it also has a special place in my heart because of its connection with my hometown, and maybe also now because of how it relates to the PepsiCo and Celsius deal. So I'll decode that introductory statement a bit later in this content, but as I normally do with my quarterly financial content of publicly traded functional CPG brands, I will use the recently filed earnings report, notes I took from listening to the earnings conference call, and any relevant publicly disclosed news. In this case, it's the 2024 quarter one period ending March 31st of 2024 for Celsius Holdings to obviously update you on the performance of the Celsius energy drinks, but also use it as kind of a backdrop to discuss market insights within the broader energy beverage category. And before we get started, I wanted to send a special congratulations to Toby David and Kyle Watson for their promotions into the C suite. You both are awesome, and I'm just really happy to see your hard work rewarded at Celsius Holdings. Additionally, shout out to CEO John Feldley and CFO Jared Langens for putting together a proper investor presentation this quarter. These visuals are extremely helpful to my community that really can't picture numbers flying around like that scene in The Hangover. That being said, let's start with some revenue numbers to kind of set the foundation. In the first quarter, Celsius Holdings had revenue of $355.7 million, which was up 37% year over year. On a quarter over quarter sequential basis, revenue was also up 2.4%. During the trailing 12 months, Celsius Holdings smashed through the billion-dollar mark, with the energy drink brand generating $1.41 billion in revenues over that period. Kind of another cool data point shared by Celsius. According to Circana, last 13-week data ending March 31st of 2024, Celsius was again the number one brand driver of dollar growth in the energy drink category, responsible for just over 47% of the category growth. Breaking out the quarterly revenue geographically, North American sales were $339.5 million, which was up 37% year over year. This growth was driven primarily by the success of sustaining consumer demand growth, delivering unique innovation, and overall channel growth, offset in part by inventory movements within PepsiCo. On the international side, Celsius had quarterly revenue of $16.2 million, which was up 43% year over year. This growth was driven in large part by velocity improvements and successful innovation launches. Though Celsius is seeing both year over year and quarter over quarter international revenue growth currently, it hasn't always been smooth sailing for the energy drink brand. That relatively weak performance is due in part to internal decision making, as Celsius had smartly focused its attention and resources on fueling the insane growth within the domestic market. But that's starting to change inside of Celsius, as the brand believes this is one of the most important strategic pillars, presenting significant opportunity for incremental growth over the next 3 to 5 years. And you can already see some of the early international market development groundwork starting to formalize. Celsius extended its relationship with Suntory to serve as not only its exclusive sales and distribution partner in the UK and Ireland, but also France, Australia, and New Zealand, that are expected to begin in the second half of 2024. Additionally, sales and distribution activity in Canada, the brand already reached 5.5% in market share in the country's energy drink market. But based on those learnings, along with emulating the Monster Energy and Coca-Cola international structures, the Celsius and PepsiCo partnership will look for further global expansion opportunities. Speaking of Monster Energy, the international portion of their business is somewhere around 40%, I think, and it's outpacing the US market in growth rates. With Celsius International only accounting for less than 5% of its total revenue, you can see there's a ton of runway left, even if comparing these are kind of like apples and oranges for several strategic reasons. Now, let's dive deeper into some retail and distribution updates that I think are important when trying to understand the Celsius energy drink growth story. And I probably don't need to keep mentioning this, but just in case, things drastically shifted because of the August 2022 distribution and investment deal with PepsiCo. The entire DSD distributor transition was completed by 2022 year end, and Celsius has now also been fully integrated within PepsiCo's annual planning cycle. It was stated in the press release that Celsius estimates retailers' spring shelf resets were approximately one third complete as of quarter end, and once concluded, the company expects to see its best space gains in company history. The importance of these placement increases and improvements should not be understated either, as the visual impact of it acts as a powerful in store billboard. The full effect of these shelf space gains should be reflected in scan data beginning in July of 2024. And speaking of retail consumption growth, Circana retail data for the period ending April 21st of 2024 shows that Celsius grew 51% year over year over the last 4 weeks and 72% year over year over the 13-week period in Q1. That growth rate is significantly larger than the broader energy category experienced over the last 4 and 13-week period. Moreover, household penetration for Celsius reached an all-time high at 29.7%, and similarly, the overall energy drink market hit an all-time high of 70.5% household penetration. In addition, according to trailing 4 weeks of Circana, all track channel data for the period ending April 14th of 2024, Celsius is now securely the third largest energy drink brand in the category. Its market share grew about 4 percentage points year over year to 11.5% now. And I don't want to gloss over that accomplishment because it's the first time in over a decade that an energy drink not named Red Bull or Monster Energy has had a 10% share in the US market. Now, how does Celsius push even further, maybe towards a 20% share, which maybe sounds a bit crazy, but realize that there are 12 major US markets where Celsius maintains a 15-point share or greater, and the energy drink brand is within just a few points of 15 share in several additional markets. So it really comes down to one, increasing sales velocities, which has rose consistently, and two, increasing total distribution points, which is comprised of ACV and items per store. PepsiCo continues to facilitate ACV expansion for Celsius, supporting new customer acquisitions across broad demographics and new usage occasions. But honestly, the energy drink brand is basically at full distribution now. So, beyond the velocity element, TDP growth will have to come from increased items carried per store. In this quarter, average SKUs per retailer increased to 20.6 from 13.5 in the prior year period, causing TDP growth of 55% year over year and 27% sequentially. Going forward, Celsius will increase items per store through a combination of product strategies like flavor expansion, scaling the new essentials lineup, and reintroducing iterated line extensions like Fizz Free. Additionally, they will seek more store placements like leveraging cold display activity in Celsius branded coolers, as this strategy, especially locating them near checkouts, has proven to be highly effective with impulse purchases. Next, I want to move on to a trio of non track channels that continue to play an outsized role in the Celsius growth story. And I'll start with e commerce. So here's the deal: you don't make money selling heavy ass beverages online at per unit price points that have any semblance of parity to sales channels like mass, grocery, or convenience. But I still believe, especially Amazon, is an extremely important part of the future of beverage, and having a long term integrated sales channel strategy needs to be centered around it. That statement wasn't pointed towards Celsius because they have shown through strategic actions that they agree with my statement. But I see too few energy drink brands leveraging Amazon at the right pace and cadence within their broader sales channel strategy. In this quarter, Celsius reported generating about $28 million in revenue on the Amazon marketplace, which is up 30% year over year. According to Stackline data for the last 14 weeks ending March 30th of 2024, Celsius remained the best-selling energy drink brand on Amazon. Another non-tracked sales channel I wanted to highlight was food service. Celsius is seeing a long runway of growth opportunities in the food service channel, as they've been able to expand rapidly into thousands of colleges, hospitals, at work micro markets, and restaurant locations in the United States. In fact, case volume in the food service channel increased 186% year over year and grew 113% sequentially, now accounting for about 12% of the energy drink brand's revenue that comes from PepsiCo. And the last of the non track channels I wanted to highlight are wholesale clubs like Costco. In this quarter, Celsius sold $63 million dollars in energy drinks through the entire club channel, which is up 36% year over year. But before I share the Goodfellas movie analogy, one final insight I wanted to draw attention to that provides further reinforcement to my ready to drink beverage to ready to mix powder beverage identity crisis trend. In the first quarter, Celsius on the go powders reached 24% share, making it the top seller in the energy powder category in tracked channels. With health and wellness trends further penetrating the energy category, I'd expect that the powders format will continue growing in mainstream retailers over the next several years, and Celsius will continue to support that with new innovation. Finally, let's connect the dots to one of the greatest movies of all time, Goodfellas. Why was that referenced in both the introductory statement and YouTube thumbnail image? Well, there's this scene where Henry Hill, played by Ray Liotta, is talking about what it's like having Paulie as a business partner, eventually saying the famous line, "Fuck you, pay me." And if you read the recent 8K report about the amended PepsiCo and Celsius distribution deal, everything would make a lot of sense. In terms of how quickly it happened, Celsius smashed growth expectations, and that became an extra burden on the PepsiCo distribution system. So they wanted to be compensated for the perceived imbalance. And Celsius gave PepsiCo incentives on sales of Celsius with adjustments for promotions. In return, John Feldley likely asked for some extra non compete coverage in the energy drink category. There's been some speculation that PepsiCo was interested in trying to unravel the mess of a structure that is Congo Brands, Alani Nu, and Prime, most likely to get a share of Alani Nu with their energy drinks. But it looks like that option is being put in the witness protection plan, at least for the near term. But I hope you enjoyed this YouTube video. If you did, consider that like button to support me. Also help me get to my new short-term goal of 4,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button. I'd love to see you join me on this journey, but we need to fix the fact that slightly over 90% of you that are watching this YouTube video right now are not subscribed to my channel, and that makes me extremely sad. But I do want to thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.